Warm welcome to all the presenters today. The main presenters, I request them to wave. Mr. Anil Sachdeva, the crowd is waiting for you. Please wave. Mr. Sachin VM from Nigeria, direct live. Yes, and we have Mr. Prashant, again live from Qatar. The second entry that Prashant is making. Thanks for making here. Dr. Kaushik Devraju, dynamic president of KRPA. Welcome, sir. Thank you very much. Oh, what a wonderful evening it is. We are here, ladies and gentlemen, to celebrate the World Pharmacist Day, transforming global health. So we wish you all a very happy Pharmacist Day. So the World Pharmacist Day is obviously on 25th September, but we decided because of the clutter of the various webinars to shift our date to 26th. Smart, eh? So we are here on 26th. All of you are here. Thank you very much. Warm welcome to Sachin, who is a marketing pharmacist from Nigeria, dynamic, very likable person. Anil Sachdeva, royal star, regulatory pharmacist, and also a film star, rocking from USA. Thank you very much. Prashant, our lovable Prashant, a practicing pharmacist from Qatar. Thank you very much, all three of you. Truly, you give this an international feel. And I am Sunil Chiplunkar, so I will do the onboarding talk before handing it over to Anil as we proceed. So the pharmacist is, of course, your partner, and for the well-being, the pharmacist is the most important person. The World Pharmacist Day, which is celebrated on 25th of each year, is basically to showcase pharmacists and their positive effects on health. It was decided during the World Congress of Pharmacy in Istanbul, Turkey in 2009 that the World Pharmacist Day would be celebrated on 25th because FIP came in existence in 1912. The vision of FIP is to make this world a much better place through safe, effective, quality, affordable medicines and important word, health technologies, and important term, pharmaceutical care services. So all the 3 points are covered there, and our mission is to support global health by enabling advancement of pharmaceutical practice, sciences, and education. On 25th, we dedicate ourselves once again to our noble job to, in fact, transform the global health. And why is there a celebration called World Pharmacist Day? Obviously, to encourage the recognition to pharmacists because they are using their experience, knowledge, and expertise to make the world a much better place. Now, did you know 78, almost 80% of the pharmacy technicians are females, and more than 40 lakh pharmacists are there worldwide. They have contributed to the market of 1204.8 billion US dollars. We are the most accessible healthcare professionals. In fact, even in a country like USA, where 90% of the people access within 5 miles a pharmacist. Coca-Cola invented by a pharmacist, John Pemberton. Dr. Pepper, Charles Addleton, then Pepsi, ginger ale, they were all contributed by pharmacists. Dr. Joseph D. Pyro is considered to be a very important pharmacist who wrote the book Pharmacotherapy. When we talk about the various noted pharmacists, one name which is dear to all the presenters as well as myself is that of Dr. H.G. Shivkumar. He is currently the principal of JSS in Noida. He has been the architect and established the JSS at Mysore. Now he has gone on an assignment to establish JSS in Noida. And you know, JSS has spread its wings to Mauritius also. So Dr. H.G. Shivkumar, I requested him to give me some points on what I can talk on Pharmacist Day, and he was very kind enough to provide me with the write-up. So Pharmacy Council of India has announced that Pharmacist Day will be observed every 25th of September, and it was started in 2013. Pharmacists are the third largest healthcare professional group in the world, and today around 10 lakh registered pharmacists are in various positions. In September 2016, the National Health Portal of the Ministry of Family Health and Family Welfare, Government of India recognized that the World Pharmacist Day is one of the official day to be observed. The PCI awards are also recognized during this time. They give the awards for the best community pharmacy, teaching pharmacy, research pharmacy, regulatory pharmacy, industrial pharmacy, and best performing state pharmacy council. Pharmacists work very silently, so there is a need to recognize and reward their substantial contribution to the society. In fact, Pharmacist Day is made so that people become aware about how pharmacists recognize and become important members to improve the quality of life. Pharmacist Day is to be celebrated through promotional campaigns connected to the media as well as notable interactions with patients. So recognize the role of pharmacists. It's very, very important. And we also observe that the role of pharmacist is today beyond just dispensing, R&D, formulation, manufacturing, QC, marketing, distribution, storage. You find the pharmacist everywhere. Pharmacist is in an excellent position to meet the need of all professionals for safe and effective medicines and its usage. Pharmacist Day is celebrated because of the coming age of pharmacy profession, improves the communication of the pharmacist with various sectors. And it is also this day when we say thank you to the pharmacist. Remember, pharmacist is always smiling and dealing with love and sympathy to rude patients, reading the extraordinary doctor's handwriting, but always smiling in spite of working that extra hour. So thank you, Dr. H.G. Shivkumar sir, for these very valuable points which I have made use of for representing on pharmacy. Various themes have been there in the past also. In 2019, we had safe and effective medicines for all. In 2017, it was research to healthcare. And 2015, pharmacists are partners in health. And 2014, access to pharmacists is access to health. Transforming global health is the theme of the 25th September 2020 World Pharmacist Day. So we are now global players, definitely. Now coming to the quiz part, I want people to type fast. Let us see, ladies and gentlemen, there is a prize awaiting for the participants. Yes, which is the capital of Nigeria? Because Sachin is from Nigeria, I picked up this question. Please type the answer. Fastest finger first, and the person who gives most number of accurate answers will get the prize. I'm waiting for the reply. Please type, which is the capital of Nigeria? Not a single answer coming. I will go to the next question. Please come. Please type your answer. Somebody has typed Niroba. It is wrong. Yes, anybody else wants to try? It is a very tricky question. I do understand, but please give me the answer. Now I'll go to the next question. Okay, I give it to Sheikh. Let us see if other people are going to answer. Ranjan has also come in. Everybody has given. Now next question, please. Celebrating the World Pharmacist Day was declared from this place. Which place? Name the place where World Pharmacist Day celebration was announced. Everybody has given Abuja. Abuja is over. Vijay Raghavan, it's over. Now come to the next question. Celebrating the World Pharmacist Day was declared from this place. Which place? Which place? Forget Abuja. Now give me the next question. Answer. Yes, Turkey. Yes, Turkey, Istanbul. Okay, I'll go with that. Betsy has been more particular. Fastest finger first. Betsy is correct. Let us see who will give maximum answers. Name the headquarter of FIP. Name the headquarter of FIP. Anybody? Name the headquarter of FIP. Which is the headquarter? Istanbul is over. Now give me the headquarter. No, not Turkey. Headquarter of FIP. Anybody? Headquarter of FIP. Not a single answer is coming. Anybody will give me the answer for the headquarter of FIP? No, not Istanbul. Headquarter of FIP. Somebody has missed. Yes, Anita, you're right. Hague, Netherlands. Yes, Sheikh, your second answer. Come second time with the right answer. Sheikh, I'm watching you. Very good. Next, what does FIP stand for? I don't want the English expansion. I want the other expansion. What does FIP stand for? Don't tell me it is the International Federation of Pharmacists. No, I will not accept that. What does FIP stand for? Please type there. Please type. I want to see the right answer. What does FIP stand for? Madam Omkar, that is over. Netherlands is over now. Please type the answer for what does FIP stand for. I want to know. No, I don't accept that English one. International Pharmacy Federation. No, I don't accept that. There is one more expansion for FIP. Anybody? No, I will not accept this International Pharmaceutical Federation. No. Anybody else? FIP expansion. FIP, yes. Jatin is correct. Federation International Pharmaceutic. Federation International Pharmaceutic is correct. First person to give the right answer was, of course, Jatin. But two answers have been given correct by a guy called Shaik, Shaik. You please send me your address. You will be getting the prize. Thank you very much. So thank you for this interactive. Mr. Sachin, I think you have enjoyed this session till now. Anil Sachdev as well as Prashant, I think you are enjoying the session. Well, all these guys are smiling, probably because they all come from the same alma mater. Well, the importance of smile is very important. The inability to effectively smile increases one's risk for depression. So please remember, smile is very important. Whenever you smile, you throw a little feel good party to your brain because the neural messaging system improves. And when smiling is there, it activates the release of happy chemicals. Please remember, friends, for your downloading, we have given lot of PDF documents, including the PPTs of Mr. Anil, Sachin, and there is one more PPT called Happy Chemicals. Please download that. Fantastic one. You like this picture of a smiling child, isn't it? Well, that's because we feel happier when children are there. They smile more. They smile for 400 times a day, whereas we smile 40 to 50 times. On an average, we smile only 20 times a day. So you can imagine why we are not so happy. As we become grumpy old men, we smile less. So the lesson is we should start smiling like how Dr. Kaushik Devraju is smiling right now. The baseball card study also said that if you give a big smile, then the person they found lived longer for 7 years longer. So that was what they have observed in a correlational study. Face Research Laboratory also said that both men and women are attracted to images of people who make eye contact and smile. So please understand, young children, young kids who are here, you have to smile and make eye contact. In a Swedish study, when subjects were shown to various pictures which included emotions like joy, anger, fear, and surprise, they said when somebody sees a picture of a person smiling, you should not smile back, you should frown. But it was very difficult. It took conscious effort to turn that smile upside down. So this is called facial feedback because people have come to understand that it's a two-way street. So if you smile, you feel happier. And if you are happier, you smile often. So that's called as facial feedback. Now, this is the corona times. There are very dangerous trends happening. So please avoid the contact greetings. And also, please understand you should go to your dentist because the dentist makes a life-changing contribution. He is a person who will change your destiny by boosting your smile value. You look better when you smile, and it's the dentist who will make you smile much better. And we are partners to Smile Specialist, that is the dentist through Group Pharmaceuticals. So Sachin, Anil, Prashant, you are all ready. We are indeed very happy to have you here on this wonderful platform. And there are more than 250 people here, and the numbers are increasing. Thank you very much, all of you, for coming in. Please inform your friends to come in. Please inform your colleagues to come in because it is time. Now we are going in for the introduction of Mr. Anil Sachdeva. Anil is a performance-driven, accomplished regulatory affairs professional. He is a leader and a team builder with 26 years of experience in international pharmaceutical regulatory affairs and analytical research. He has worked in US, China, and India. Currently, he is based in US. He has a certified regulatory affairs professional, and he is also responsible for acting in various leadership positions. He has strong work ethics, and he has extensive experience in developing successful strategies for marketing approval of generic 505(b)(2) submissions, life cycle management, and commercial products support. He has done a lot of work involving complex sterile injectable products, peptide drug products, liposomal drug products, extended release injectables, drug device combinations, which is going to be the highlight of his talk today. Comprehensive knowledge of US FDA regulation, including 21 CFR 210, 211, and 820. Wow, that's a mouthful. He has a proven expertise in negotiating with FDA, international regulatory agencies. He has worked with global project teams and outside vendors. He has got a lot of acquaintance with the regulatory requirements for dealing with SFDA in China, bioequivalence all those BAB studies, clinical trial studies. He has got experience even in product registration. So with all his team building and strong leadership qualities and his ability to participate in various REMS meetings, etc., and also monitor the regulatory status and updates, he is making a very, very big mark. He started his job as a research scientist way back in 1994, and then he moved slowly with experience to regulatory affairs. He has served with iconic companies Orchid, Ranbaxy, Jubilant, Mylan, Teva, and now he is with Biocon US as the head of the regulatory department. Amazing, isn't it? I think everybody should give him a clap. Prashant is already there and everybody. Thank you. Very good, Anil. He did his B Farm from JSS Mysore, M Farm in pharmaceutical chemistry from Hamdard University. And he has done a certificate course called DL 101 course on general course on intellectual property conducted by WIPO, World Intellectual Property Organization. He is certified RAC by Regulatory Affairs Professionals Society. Now, many of the attendees will wonder why I'm reading all these data. Well, that's because a lot of kids are here. They should also get an idea. What is the blueprint they should have to move ahead in their life? And these are all the blueprints which are available to you. Now, most important, Anil Sachdeva is a happily married man. Okay. So if somebody is having some doubts or having any, feelings, please understand this film actor is happily married. Now, most important point, his wife is a pharmacist. Her name is Jyoti. When he married her, she was a B Farm. After marriage, she has done her M Farm and a PhD, and she is also a regulatory professional in the USA with a US company. Please give him a big hand, not just because he is a pharma couple, but more importantly, he gave support to his wife's ambitions and helped her evolve as a professional. Now, this is a lesson that all the kids out there should learn, how to support your better half. The better half may be a male or a female, depending on which gender you are. So that is the way life goes on. Congratulations, Anil. That is a fantastic achievement, not only professionally in extracurricular activities, but also domestically also. Wonderful, wonderful. They are blessed with two beautiful daughters. In the first video which I had shown, one of the trailer, her daughter is in acting in that, Anjali Sachdeva. I'll be showing it at the end of the webinar again, all the videos, so people who missed it can see it again. So he's a talented musician. He plays variety of instruments. Even in college days, he was rocking as a very good musician. He's an excellent actor. He was doing skits at that time. Then he developed his skill, passion for stage acting, film acting. He is a wonderful guy. He is currently a US citizen too, a successful pharmacist, enjoying his life not only as a film actor, maybe it's not on the front stage, but he is definitely there. Here you can see him talking on some pharmaceutical matters in one of the symposiums. So that is Anil Sachdeva to you, a complete rounded personality who has worked in various fields, who has won accolades for himself and to his alma mater and to his family and to his country. Amazing guy. Sachin is also a wonderful chap, but I will give you his brief after Anil Sachdeva's speech. So please await Sachin's introduction later. So Anil Sachdeva, thank you very, very much. And it is over to you. Amazing life you have led. Congratulations. And I request you to represent your talk today. Thank you very much.
Great. Thank you very much, Sunil. Well, thanks for such wonderful introduction. Even I didn't know that much about myself. Thanks for reminding me what all I'm doing. Great. Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. This is Anil Sachdeva. I'm currently Vice President and Head of Regulatory Affairs at Biocon, which is a Bangalore-based company. I'm based in New Jersey. Right now, it's 6:51 a.m. in the morning. And so if you see the panel, everybody is in the different time zone. So this is the beauty of this technology. And just to put the things in the perspective, myself, Sachin and Prashant, we all were classmates. We all 91, this passed out B Farm from JSS. And Sunil was our 1 year senior and he was mentor to all of us. He's a big reason that what we are today. So thank you very much, Sunil. And again, thanks for giving this opportunity. So without much ado, let's go see that today we are celebrating World Pharmacist Day. Sunil already mentioned that the purpose of this day is to encourage activities that promote and advocate for the role of the pharmacist in improving health in every corner of the world by contributing in every possible field which deals with the medicines. So here I have enumerated few areas where we are giving the contribution, like research and development, manufacturing of pharmaceutical products, marketing, medicine wholesale distributor, retail pharmacy. I specifically mentioned this area because most of the panelists are dealing with these areas. Then hospital pharmacy, medicine advisory, and drug device engineers. And now, you know that when we joined the B Farm, you know, it was so difficult to explain people what we are doing. Most of the time when we used to say we are doing B Farm, they used to think we are doing BCom. But now people have realized the importance of the pharmacist with this, especially during this Corona time. They have understood the pharmacists are not ordinary; they are essential workers, and they are considered as the warriors. So we should be very proud of our profession, and we should really do everything what we can do for the society. And the topic of this day is the transforming global health. So it is like an initiative to improve the state of healthcare globally. The current approach to healthcare is not working, so we have to see how we can make it better. The way we provide healthcare to people across the world needs massive improvement. And when I'm saying across the world, it's including US. There's a lot of work to be done in every part of the world to improve this healthcare thing. Because there's a high health risk across a vast region of the world, including inaccurate diagnosis, medical errors, medical scams, and this happens worldwide at all economic levels. Patient compliance with medication is a very big issue worldwide. So you will be surprised to see that approximately 50% of patients don't take medication as prescribed. Reasons could be various. Their health is unnecessarily compromised because they don't follow either instructions for the timings at what time they have to take, the dosage, or the frequency of their medication. So here are the few strategies which our various pharmacists have come out that if we follow these, this can use to boost medication compliance, like understand each patient's medication behavior, means whether they prefer oral dosage forms or injectables, or they cannot take the tablets, so they have to take the solution. So we have to understand why they are not complying to the medication. So based on that, we should advise our doctors to prescribe so and so dosage form to the patient. Discuss, inform them about the side effects. Many patients, they don't take medicine because they see there are some side effects. But if we educate them, if we discuss and inform them that yes, if you take this medicine, there could be so and so side effects, so you should not be worried. There's more benefit than the side effects. Then provide written instruction in their local language. This is very important. Sometimes doctors, they give the instruction, or nurses give the instructions which patient doesn't understand. So he doesn't know when he has to take the medicine. So it's very important we provide the instruction in their local language. Consider the financial burden to the patients. Many patients, they cannot afford medicines, even in the country like US. So that means you'll be surprised that not everyone in this country also can afford the insurance. So that burden. So there are many NGOs, they support those patients if they reach out to them. So likewise, I think a lot of work to be done globally, where we can take care of the financial burden to the patients and provide them treatment and medicines. As health literacy, that we have to really work on this and reduce complexity. This is the topic which I will be going slightly in detail. So if we can reduce the complexity, that will improve the compliance of the medication with patient. When I'm saying the reduce the complexity, that is when we are reducing the complexity of the drug regimen, increase the likelihood that patient will follow through with taking medication correctly. How we can do it? Like in most of the pharmaceutical company, I think about 15 to 20 years ago, they started coming out with the medications with once daily dosing instead of multiple doses per day. Like many medicines where doctors used to prescribe take 3 times a day, 4 times a day, and for patients it was too much. So the companies, the R&D came out with once a day tablets. Now in the research, they are doing the once a week tablets, so that they just take once and they are good for a week. There are many injections available. They have to take once a month only, and the drug remains in the body for a month. So those kind of research and pharmaceutical dosage forms definitely will improve the medication compliance. And by providing the combination products is another way to do this. And this is a very big part of our life, combination products. And this is an evolving area in every part of the country, including US. So actually, US is the only region where they have the legal definition of the combination product. So why I'm taking this? Because I'm in regulatory affairs. This is a new area, especially for the generic pharmaceutical company. So I thought I'll take this opportunity to share the requirements of the combination product, as it's a very new area. So means if you know that the 21 CFR 3.2 is the only place where there's a legal definition of the combination product. So a product which comprises of 2 or more regulated components, that is either drug or device, biologics or device, drug or biologics, or drug device. So any 2 which is regulated components are when they are put together. So like this is a single entity. They are called combination products. The other thing is that 2 or more separate products packed together in a single package as a unit and comprise drug and device products, or drug and biologic products, or biologics or drug products are also called combination product. There's a third category where the drug and the device or biologics, they are packed separately, but their label, they cross-reference each other, that you have to take this medicine using so and so device. So when we are giving a cross-reference of that device, so that becomes a combination product. So these are the few examples and the definition which are given about the, and here I'm giving few examples of combination product. What are combination product? Like the prefilled syringe, auto injectors, pen injectors, meter dose inhaler, soft mist inhalers, dry powder inhalers, transdermal delivery systems, kits containing drugs and administration devices, implants, IUDs. These are the few examples of combination products. And there are some special regulations for filing with the FDA or any other health authority to get the approval to market this product, this combination product. Now we know what are combination products. People usually confuse with some other kind of combinations also. So I thought it was important to understand what are not combination products. So combination of the 2 same constituents, like if the 2 devices are packed together, they are not combination products. Or the 2 drugs, they are packed together. I know there are so many co-packed pharmaceutical products available in the market, but they doesn't come in the category of combination products, or the 2 biologics packed together. Why they are not considered combination product? Because they are not regulated by 2 separate centers, the divisions which are there in US or EU. These kind of, because the CDER and CBER are the 2 different divisions. The CDER is responsible for the drugs, and CBER is responsible for the biologics. Likewise, CDRH is responsible for devices. So if the 2 separate centers are involved, then it becomes a combination product. Since if the 2 devices, only the CDRH will be reviewing them. If there are 2 drugs, only CDER will be reviewing them. And if it's the 2 biologics, only CBER will be reviewing them. So they won't come in category of combination products. And also these combinations have 1 mode of actions. So that's why, because combination products again are determined what kind of this mode of action is there by that combination. If it's predominant by a pharmaceutical drug, then that becomes that application goes to the CDER, where they review the drugs. And there's no regulation or law that applies to these kind of combinations. So when the same kind of devices are packed together, or that same kind of drugs are packed together, so there's no regulations available to which applies to these kind of combination products. So they are not considered as combination product. Now, there are a lot of advantage. We have come to this topic of combination product because there's advantage. One is the patient compliance, and there's why there's a patient compliance because there's a ease of administration, easier for patient to use at home or in emergency situation. In this example, the pre-filled dosage reduces medication error because the syringe is already pre-filled with the drug. So there is a elimination of the vial overfill, greater assurance of sterility, and the cost. So all these factors make these combination products very, very a advantage to our society and patients. So I thought I will just put this slide here and to show how this combination market is growing. This is an example in the US. So currently we are in 2020 and the current market is a $50 billion. And there's a projection in 24, this will grow to like 70 to $75 billion. So these various combination product dosage forms are growing very quickly, and every company is now filing and marketing this combination product. So now to file this combination product, we as a pharmacist, those who are working in the pharmaceutical industry or otherwise also, we should be aware when we are having a combination product. When we have only pharmaceutical product medicines, then the 21 CFR regulations, 211 and 210 regulations are applicable to only the drugs. But when there's a combination, so it depends what kind of combination is there, and accordingly we have to comply with those regulations. So if it's a drug device combination, in addition to 210 and 211 21 CFR regulations, we have to comply to 21 CFR 820 regulations also. And if the combination is with biological product, then we have to make sure our site also complies to 21 CFR 600 and 610 regulations. And there are various guidelines. I just thought I'll provide this detail so that if you have time, you can go through these guidelines. They will give us what are the requirements to file a product, especially in countries like US, and other countries have also taken these guidelines. They have derived their requirement, their regulations based on these guidelines. So there are various guidelines, and if you see from 2013 and until 2020, there's so many guidelines have been published by FDA, which helps applicants or the companies to understand what is the requirement to file these combination product in with the US FDA. So, and as I mentioned, this is an evolving area. All of us should understand, and there's so many new combination products are coming every day through R&D. Like if you know the insulin, earlier there was the insulin shots. Now insulin injections comes with the pump. So you just put the pump, it's in the shape of like a pager. Just you put the things at what is the frequency you have to inject the insulin injection body. So there will be auto injection. You need not to worry. So that pump will take care of what is the dose you have to give, because that pump will measure the sugar level in your body, and accordingly it will adjust the amount of insulin administrating in your body. So, and there are many pharmaceutical companies coming up with the apps which will give you a reminder, or if you are in a critical stage, they will send the message to medical service providers so that they will come to know you need some assistance. So the field is evolving, and all of you should be very, very excited that you are pharmacists and helping the society and the especially those patients who need you, and you can get ideas in which area you should work. So we know this is the basic. I thought to give a very high level overview of this combination product and how we can help the patient and the society. So currently we are in a very difficult time, testing time. So just as a message: stay home, stay safe, stay aware, and stay calm. With this, thank you very much, everyone. If you have any question, you can reach out to me through email. Sunil can provide email or my contact details. So that's it. Once again, wish you all a very happy Pharmacist Day.
Thank you very much, Anil. It was a fantastic talk because you are in the cutting edge of the pharmaceutical developments. That was very evident. Can you give some more examples of this drug device combination which are there in the market? Because many of the kids will be happy with that answer.
Sure, definitely. There, one of the product, if you're aware of the EpiPen auto injector, which when I was working for Mylan, they were the brand, they were the innovator for the EpiPen, which is very widely used for small kids, especially when they have the anaphylactic shocks, or especially in US. I'm sure everybody is aware. There's a lot of peanut allergy people have, and that can cause the anaphylactic shocks. So the EpiPen, it was very difficult earlier for patients to take because those need immediate assistance. So most of the schools, they keep EpiPen in auto injector in schools, or the kids, those who are allergic to peanut, they keep those EpiPen in their bags. So as and when required, even those small kids, they can administer themselves. So it's it's just like any pen. And then you have to inject it here, or usually it is given on your thigh. Just put it on your thigh over your trouser itself. So and then just press the button on the top of your pen, and then it administers. So these kind of auto injectors are there. Then there's a Victoza and Saxenda, which is a liraglutide, and this is for diabetic patient, and the Saxenda, which is another form of liraglutide, that is for weight loss. So that helps. So it's very easy. Again, they are the pen injectors. So just you have to, with the click of a button, you administer the drug. And the best thing is you don't get any pain because the needles are so fine. And the only pain you get, like somebody's pinching on your arm or something. That's don't feel the pain of a needle. There are other transdermal patches, which means if you have to take a treatment for like 7 days or 30 days, just put a patch on your arm and you are good for next 30 days. Implants, another form of combination products. So there's a lot of work going on in pharmaceutical industry. This implant contraceptives, which are becoming very, very popular. So, and they're good for for years together, for 3 years, 5 years. So one implant.
Which are the patches currently doing the buzz in the American market?
There are so many for hypertension, because those people require that medicine for on daily basis. So there are patches which are available. So a lot of available for the hypertension products.
I see.
Yeah.
So you've got antihypertensive patches also. Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Just by chance, you recollect the drug which they are providing?
Not able to recall the name at this time, but I can send you the details.
No problem. I just wanted to know. So I think that was a fantastic talk. We will be fielding more questions, of course, as we go proceeding towards the end of the webinar, and Mr. Prashant is also there to handhold us on that. Now I'll go to the introduction of Mr. Sachin. Basically, Sachin is, how can I say, his work speaks for himself. He doesn't like to blow the trumpet. He doesn't like to represent himself very strongly. So however much I asked him, you please give me some of your biodata details, he was not forthcoming. So I had to do my own research and all that and try and collect some amount of information to represent regarding Sachin, who is now holding a very responsible position at WWCVL. So this company, Worldwide Healthcare, is one of the largest organizations in Nigeria and that part of Africa. And they basically are into logistics. They do trading. They get the products from multinational companies, distribute it to all the pharmacies out there. He's actually a fountainhead and a repository of practical knowledge of Nigeria. So if you want some very interesting insights about how Nigerian pharmacies work and how the doctors work and how the pharmaceutical industry is, I think you can pry out that information from him by posting your questions in the chat. So that's what Sachin is basically doing. He's a general manager marketing, and from the angle of his behavioral pattern, right from his college days, he was the most helpful, most mature, kind and courteous. He is excellent in his emotional quotient. He has worked for many years in GSK, both as a frontline. Please remember, he started as a medical representative and he has gone up to this very high post in Nigeria. He is doing very, very well for himself professionally, commercially, financially, and in every other angle. His strengths are his relationship management, high emotional quotient, social skill, and he can be assertive at the same time, accommodative. So I think, Sachin, it is a brief introduction based on what I could gather. You have, of course, done BFARM, that was already announced along with Prashant and Anil. So you are all the same batchmates. So that's one part of it. So thank you very much, Sachin. Now we'll go on to your presentation. So I'll just host that.
Yeah,
One
yeah.
second.
Before I come, it's first of all, good morning, good afternoon,
Yeah.
friends. It's a very humbling experience for me because amidst of all the luminaries in this August forum, I'm a simple person. When Mr. Sunil says there are a lot of kids, I am also one of the kids along with you, because I am a kid who never collected even his graduation certificate even 20 years after passing the B form. So I'm just one of you. So it's a humbling experience. Well, the subject matter is transforming global health, but I'm not a person who is very futuristic. When people are going to talk about how do we transform the global health, how do we reach the moon, I'm here to talk how do I repair the potholes in the road today I'm walking. I'm just trying to patch up the potholes in the road today rather than planning to reach moon. So when the subject was given to me, transforming global health, I have tried to draw more from my experience and what the learning I have gathered over the last 30 years of my pharmaceutical career. So it's more of a practical talk, not much of concepts. So kindly forgive me if it is very primitive in nature. Next slide, please.
Yeah, you can press next yourself. You are the master
Yeah,
of your
okay.
presentation.
Sure. Okay. See, all right. Now, this is the journey of a drug. People do research. I saw Anil, Prashant, Sunil, and many people in this August forum are focusing on research. Then there are a lot of people who are into manufacturing of the product. Yes, research is important, manufacturing is important, but how does it reach the end patient? I think that is a very critical point, which many of the pharmacist people ignore without knowing it. Trust me, I worked in GSK in India for almost 20 years. Only when I came to Africa, I really understood what is the value of supply chain logistic in transforming the healthcare and wealth of a population or a wealth of a country. I wish to request you, there is one small question. Do you know which is the healthcare company which has a turnover equal, I repeat, equal to the combined turnover of Pfizer, GSK, Novartis all put together?
People can type if you know the answer. It's a wonderful question. Which company has got the sales? Combined turnover of Pfizer, GSK, and Novartis. Amazing question. Please type there if you know the answer.
Well, forgive me, even I was not knowing this answer. Trust me, the biggest healthcare company in the US, and Anil can correct me if I'm wrong, is not Novartis, not Pfizer, not GSK. There is a logistic and distribution company called McKesson. McKesson. McKesson turnover is $280 billion in a year. $280 billion is the turnover of that company, which is much bigger than the combined turnover of GSK, Pfizer, Novartis put together. So, as much as we are focusing on research, manufacturing, and patient experience, it is also critically necessary to understand the role of supply chain and logistic in pharmaceutical industry and the way we want to transform our healthcare to the society. Let me draw one attention to one critical point. When I came to Africa, there is a lot of donor fund projects like Gavi, Bill Gates Foundation, USAID, PEPFAR. There are a lot of donor funded projects for malaria, HIV, tuberculosis. And they spend immense amount of money, billions of dollars. And you'll be amazed to know that all that money donors are giving like Bill Gates or other people, it never reaches the patient. It never reaches the patient. All that money just goes into the drain. Let me draw an example. Nigeria has the highest malaria burden in the world. In fact, Nigeria population is 200 million. Every Nigerian takes one malaria course every month, and people cannot afford it. So Bill Gates said, I'm giving you the malaria drug free of cost, just take it. Because people were dying because the drug was not available to them. It was not available at their point of requirement. And believe me, due to the pure logistic and supply chain issues, the entire 160 million doses of anti-malarial drug what Bill Gates Foundation gave, it was just mismanaged by the wholesalers, retailers. They made profit, and patient was not at all getting a single tablet of a malaria drug, which they were supposed to get free of cost. And Bill Gates got so much pissed off this year, he closed that project at all. So understand the contribution of logistic and warehousing and distribution company. Today, I was happy when Anil showed about the pandemic period. A lot of companies are doing research on vaccines, but has anybody thought about how will that vaccine reach from the manufacturer to the COVID patient? Who is going to maintain the cold chain? Do we have adequate value chain cold chain system which can take the product from manufacturing to the patient? Otherwise, the entire research manufacturing, don't you feel, is going waste down the drain? And there are a lot of, I see a lot of attendees here are policymakers in this forum. My humble appeal to all of you, I think in the pharmaceutical curriculum in India, a small chapter needs to be added on how logistics supply chain can add value in contributing to the society. That is very, very, very important. And let us also look at how the world is transforming today. I'm sure most of the people in US or in India are hearing about entry of Reliance or entry of Amazon in the logistic warehousing distribution of pharmaceutical product. Why it had to enter? Because in India today, we don't have, to the best of my knowledge, and I will be happy to be stand corrected, there are no pharmaceutical logistic warehousing specialized companies in India. It is all done by the non-pharmacist. It is just treated like any other commodity. So my humble appeal to my fellow students and my fellow colleagues in this August forum, as much as we give importance to the research, manufacturing, marketing, my humble thanks to all of them. But let's also give an equal and important importance to the how the product reaches from a manufacturer to the end patient, because that's our purpose. We are here to get the drugs to the patient. So under these circumstances, I feel that this is my calling, that how do I contribute to the supply chain? How do I contribute to the logistic warehousing so that the patients get the drug when they need it? Thanks to people like Sunil, Anil, and Prashant, who are taking care of research and manufacture. In a humble way, let me take care of the logistic, which is a small ignored part. Well, you people are in a different part of the world. As you can see here, you can see my wholesaler. This is the real wholesale picture in this part of the world. You see a pharmacy. This is the real pharmacy in Nigeria. You see people carrying the drugs on their head, walking from street to street, going from house to house, and sell drugs like malaria drugs, vitamins, and other things. The logistic and supply chain is totally messed up. Nobody knows how the drugs come here. Now, you'll be surprised that this is the environment I'm living. And today my focus is how can I streamline this wholesale, which is in an unorganized sector? How do I help the retail pharmacies, and how do I manage the supply chain in a proper way so that people get a quality product at the most economical way and when they need it? That is the way I feel as a pharmacist I can help and transform the global healthcare. Let me start with wholesaler. I want to draw your attention to Africa's biggest wholesale market. There is a place called Onitsha. There are 4,000 wholesalers in one place. I repeat, 4,000 wholesalers in one place in an area which is as big as our JSS College of Pharmacy. That's all. There is no temperature, no humidity, because in this country, if I get electricity for 2 hours, it is a blessing for me. And in that wholesale market, The right side of the wall is managed by one person and the left side of the wall is under another person. So that is the kind of a wholesale system we have in this country. Pharmacy. Why are we having this kind of people who are going and selling the drugs on their head? Because for a 200 million population, there are only 4,000 pharmacies in this country. Is it enough? Not enough. And people go to pharmacy in this part of the world. People go to pharmacy not to the doctor first. The reason, because they can't afford a doctor fees. If they go to a doctor, their 1 month salary is wiped out. So their first point of contact for any healthcare issue is pharmacy. 90% of the drugs are sold in this part of the world without any prescription. You'll be amazed to know ampicillin and amoxicillin are the highest sold antibiotic in Nigeria even today. This is the environment in which I'm working. So my objective is, how do I transform this? How do I make my people get quality medicine? How do I make the supply chain efficient? Because the WHO guideline down, it says that due to non-availability of a proper medicines, fake drugs are coming into the market. The study shows that 50% of the drugs sold in Nigeria are fake. Under these circumstances, is there a role and responsibility as a pharmacist to transform the global healthcare by giving them the quality of medicines at a most affordable price? I feel this is where I want to work upon. I may not be looking at the future, the drug delivery systems and all. Here, my job is to give them the drug, what they need at the most efficient manner. With your due permission, I will just draw 2 examples of what we are doing. Okay. This is one of the very interesting project we did. This is called CHAI project. This is Clinton Health Association project for management of oncology. In Nigeria, there is a huge burden of oncology. Breast cancer, uterine cancer is a very common thing. But in this country, everything is imported, right, from salt to toothpick. So when oncology products are to be used in this country, there are hardly 5 oncology centers in this country, and the prices are exorbitant. I mean, here there is no price mechanism. Let me draw your attention to hydroxyquine, because hydroxyquine is one of the drugs which is very commonly used in the management of COVID. A hydroxyquine pack, which used to cost less than $5, today it is sold at $300. That is the kind of situation. And when the oncology patients are there, either the cancer patients of Nigeria, either they go to Dubai, Europe, or India for treatment, and it was putting a lot of burden on the forex of the country. And doctors here, when they go to UK or US, they just bring in their suitcases some cancer drug. A 1,000 rupees drug, they sell it at 10,000 rupees, because for them it is the profit making. So when government wanted to do an oncology project, thankfully Clinton Health Association, in collaboration with Cipla and Pfizer, they wanted to give cancer drugs to the Nigerian patient at 1/10 of what is available in the general market. But doctors don't wanted it because they know that they will lose their profit. Teaching hospital or cancer centers don't wanted it because their profit goes down. Nobody wanted it. So there was a time when Clinton Health said that we are scrapping this project. So at that time, we as a private partner, we ventured into this segment. So there was a triple combination. One side, Clinton Health, pharmacy service provider like me, and there is a government, federal institution. So we came out with a private-public partnership. What did we do? We selected 7 cancer centers in the country, as the map is showing. Then what we said is, we told Pfizer and Cipla, you bring the stock. It's my responsibility. How do I manage? So we went to the teaching hospital. We said that anytime you diagnose a patient with breast cancer, give a prescription of breast cancer product, what we have got it under Clinton Health Oncology Project. Then the patient pays through an electronic system, and the payment part of the money goes back to the doctor, part of the money goes back to the hospital, so that they don't feel that their profits have come down, and part of the money comes to me, and the remaining money goes to the Pfizer or Cipla who are giving me the stock. So there was a combination of private-public partnership and taking care of federal ministry, the doctors and the patients using an excess price. Now what happens is the moment a patient is diagnosed, they make the payment and then they call my call center. The moment the call center receives the call that such and such patient for breast cancer needs a drug, then we deliver the patient directly. No middleman, no value chain like wholesaler, retailer, or doctor, nothing. It goes straight to the patient. My rep carries the drug and delivers it within 48 hours. That is the commitment we have given. And we are working with this project with 0% profit. Because for us, I mean, money is not everything. Of course, we are here to make money, but there are some causes, where we need to step it out. So I feel that my fellow colleague pharmacists and my young pharmacy people here, do not underestimate your ability. I think I remember to one of the videos to Sunil Chiplankar. They say if you want to serve the humanity, if you want to become successful in your life, as a person, if you want to become successful in life, find a purpose to serve the humanity. The day you find a purpose to serve the humanity, you become successful in life. For me, my purpose to serve the humanity is by this logistic and warehousing company, whereas Anil has found his purpose to serve the humanity by quality research, Prashant to the retail pharmacy, and Sunil by sharing such a wonderful knowledge to all of us. So do not underestimate. As a pharmacist, you can definitely transform the way the global health can be managed. Let me come to my last slide. Well, the world has really evolved, but there are a lot of healthcare conditions like HIV, tuberculosis, and many other conditions where people are stigmatized. They are not willing to go to a pharmacy and ask for a drug because they feel that, I will be identified or I will be notified. This is a project which presently we are working on, especially for HIV patients who don't want to go to a pharmacy and know that they're having HIV. So what is the project we have done? And this is done from African perspective. So there is a doctor who identifies a patient, and now the patient, because don't want to go to pharmacy directly, what does he do? He uses his phone. We are not using any smartphone. We are using a simple Nokia phone which doesn't need data, because in this part of the world, internet and data is a major concern. So now the patient just sends one message. As you can see, 01. 01 means it is HIV, just for argument. 002 could be Zidovudine. 003 is 3 packs. Do you understand? By just such a simple message, a message goes to my call center, and my call center person will send back an SMS to the patient that this is your code, 006 is your code, remember this. Then the patient pays the money. Once the payment comes, it comes to worldwide, my country here. Now the USAID has given me HIV drugs or malaria drug or tuberculosis drugs under access project to be given at a discounted price. Now how this project works is, as a patient, I was diagnosed with HIV. I sent the code to the call center. The call center has sent me a code. Then the call center calls me and says, hey, Mr. Sachin, you have given a prescription for HIV drug. Where do you want to pick it up? Because the patient is not willing to go to pharmacy and take, because he will be exposed, he or she will be exposed. So me as a patient, I will say, okay, while I'm going back from my work to my home, there is a shopping mall. In the shopping mall, I will go and pick up my drug. Do you understand? When the patient gets the prescription, he sends the message to the call center. Call center sends a message back to the patient saying that, yeah, your drug will be available. Tell me, where do you want to pick it up? Maybe I say ShopRite. Maybe I say Jio Mall or Reliance Big Mall, whatever is there in India now. Now, because the patient has confirmed the payment worldwide as a logistic provider, I prepare the product what is required for Mr. Sachin. And there are 2 options. One, there is a vault. You see the locker on the left-hand side here? You see a locker? Now, as a patient, I had received my message. So when I'm going back to home, I just go to the locker, which is there usually in a shopping malls. Let me answer why we have preferred to keep the such locker rooms or vault in the shopping mall. The reason is shopping malls have got AC environment, centrally air conditioned, so the temperature is maintained, and mall has generally a safety network so that the stealing doesn't happen. So as a patient, when I'm going back to home, I just go to the shopping mall. There is a place like what is shown here, the vault here. I just go there and I enter my code 006. Then the vault, the locker room, and my drug is available. This is the low cost model, what we are doing for, especially for the product, which patients are not willing to go to the society and pick up. But there is a high-end version of it, that is what you see as drug dispensing ATM machines. Drug dispensing ATM machines. So in this, although we have not started here, but let me give you an idea. This is very much working in South Africa. So when I was diagnosed with HIV, I send the message to the company. Company gives me a code. Now in the evening, I just walk into a ATM center, which is just like how we go to bank ATM. As you can see in the screen, there is an ATM machine. You go and put your prescription. So the ATM machine scans your prescription. Then there is a payment using your credit card or debit card. You make the payment. Then on the back of the pharmacy, on the back of the ATM, there is a virtual pharmacy. So looking at your prescription and looking at your payment, there will be a pharmacy sitting behind the ATM. And if need be, the person will interact with you and give you the drugs, just like how you collect your currencies. This is a futuristic model which we are working. I feel that, I remember when I was a small, people were even shy to go and ask for a condom in a pharmacy. But we have moved across for a very long time. In this way, I feel that there are a lot of ways by which we as a pharmacist, along with the wonderful work, and I remain thankful to them for the research, marketing, sales, quality, everything do. We as a pharmacist, we can also definitely put a lot of emphasis on how in a simple and wonderful way, we can contribute to the society and make the quality products available to the patients at the most affordable price and transform the global health. This is all is my humble submission. It's a very simple slide. Please forgive me if it was not up to your expectation. I wish you all the best. And once again, I take the opportunity to thank you all. Have a wonderful day.
Great job,
Satyen. I think Prashant and Anil will join me in doing a standing ovation. Can you please, Satyen?
Sure.
No.
Satyen, what a fantastic. We feel proud here. We feel proud, Satyen. You have done such a great job out there. It was astounding. Actually, I'm so happy to see what work you have done. A small, we don't see about logistics in that angle, but you have put it at the forefront. And of course, Dr. Prashant will wind up, give you more points on what you have said. But before going to that, I just want to inform all the attendees. See, there are some lovely PDFs. One is the Karnataka State Pharmacy Council newsletter. Second, Professor Ravindra's PPT, how to get an educational loan. Third, Happy Chemicals. Fourth and fifth are two very interesting research studies. One of them is mine, and you'll find it very useful, particularly for COVID. Anil Sachdev's PPT is there in PDF format. Sachin's PDF is also there. There is one more very good one, post-COVID. It is written by a doctor. So that gives the outline about after suffering the COVID infection, what are all the do's and don'ts, how the person can take care of himself. Manoj is a fantastic guy in Bangalore. Many people may not know him outside of India, but he's outsourcing all the product management activities. He offers that service. His firm is called PharmaPulse. He has provided one interesting PPT, a PDF called as Productivity Tool. Then there is a wonderful one called Pharma 1000. So it gives you the very good information about the pharmaceutical industry. Actually, one gentleman by name Mr. Angadi, he is a trainer. He is a BPharm guy. Okay, he's worked in Pfizer, etc. He gave this at one of the WhatsApp groups. Immediately, I put it up. Then there is the KRPA monthly bulletin of September 2020. So some really wonderful and fantastic PDFs are there. This is for sharing. Everybody, all the pharmacy professionals, everybody will enjoy this. There are a lot of videos to be shown. I could not show you one important video in the start, so I'm taking time now to show you this video. That was awesome, isn't it? That is our own Raghulal and Company, which is one of the iconic firms known across India. Anil, you recollect Raghavan, who was our
Yes.
junior? Yeah, I mean junior technically, okay, but not in stature-wise.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is Raghavan's creation. Instead of crying over spilt milk that online pharmacies are going to eat my business, etc., what has he done? He has just asked some of the local software developers to create this app, and he is now doing omni-channel marketing. What a fantastic thing! Tomorrow he may even ask some pharmaceutical OTC type of products, advertisement on this, and start earning on also from this app. There are so many interesting things that a person can do instead of complaining that the online pharmacies are eating my business, or logistics problems are there. Sachin has represented so beautifully about how logistics problem can be tackled. In fact, there are encomiums on encomium, by the way, in the chat session. Everybody is appreciating both of you. Superb. Now, Monisha wants to know from Sachin, don't you think telemedicine will be useful in Nigeria?
Yeah, it's a wonderful question. Thanks for this question. That can telemedicines help people? But the question is, we need to understand the environment in which we are working. Let me draw example to when a patient walks into an Indian environment. The doctor in India manages the diagnosis part. He gives the prescription. The pharmacist gives the medicine. The nursing staff gives the injection or something like that. So there is one patient who is serviced by three verticals of healthcare provider: doctor, pharmacist, and a nurse. But in this part of the world, a patient is seen as a money bag. Suppose a patient has 100 rupees. The doctor want to take everything. The pharmacist want to take all the 100 rupees, or the nurse want to take all the thing. In here, nurses also do as a pharmacist, and pharmacists also practice. They have the right to prescribe. So that is the reason, due to the cost modality and the poor socio-economical condition, the people prefer to go to pharmacists. Now, the question you are very rightly asked, can the telemedicine work? We need to understand the social environment we are working. Africa in generally is a relation-based society. People relate to each other. They just go and take something or some medicine because my mother or my grandmother used it and it helped them, and they continue. It is a highly socially networked country and relation-based country. So they will be happy to have a face-to-face interaction with the pharmacist, who is their neighborhood pharmacist. Go there, talk about their problems and speak to them. I feel that speaking to an unknown personality through telemedicine may not be the most preferred option here. only as a telemedicine. Some of the companies like Apollo's and other big hospital groups from India, they have tried to do telemedicine here, but they have not been very successful. And I also saw one more question, if I'm permitted to answer.
Yes, yes.
Can Nigeria work on the cost and the other thing?
Yes.
No, in Nigeria, it is God. I mean, it is only the God who is saving this country. So it is very difficult for the government to manage the healthcare or anything like that. The insurance sector, health insurance in Nigeria is less than 1%. So that is the kind of environment we are living in. So it is all private. 90% of the business in Nigeria is out of pocket. So the public tender or the government ability to influence the patient and help the patient is very limited. Thank you.
Wonderful. That was really a mature answer, because I think a mature market is also required. Certain social conditions are required. So in maybe patches, Monisha, that concept of telemedicine will work, but probably not across Nigeria, South Africa, etc. But it was a wonderful session. Ashwath wants to know, Anil, genetic sequencing is done globally to predict the ailments. So this sort of a approach in R&D, how will it work?
It's working. Yeah, it is happening. I mean, there are companies who are doing research on the biologics and say genetic engineering. So a lot of work is being done, and a lot of big brand companies, they are into this kind of research. Because these kind of research takes years and years. So there are many in the phase 1 and phase 2 of the development, and I'm sure very soon we'll see this products in the commercial level also. But a lot of work is being carried out in many research institutes.
That's interesting, Anil. There are no commercial products based on genetic sequencing as of now in US?
There are many biologics are available.
Okay.
They are very, very expensive at present. But once their patents will be over and the generics will start coming, they will become more affordable. But a lot of research is still going on in the research institute, how to bring the cost lower.
Yeah. That Zolgensma is one of the most, costliest gene therapy drug, Anil?
Yeah.
Or one rare disorder, I think they have launched that.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. So that's an interesting insight. We have exhausted the questions, and we are nearing the closing time also. So what I promise to all the attendees is you stay on. Reason is, many of you have not seen the excellent videos we have played. I will be there playing the video after the closing remarks and vote of thanks on behalf of KRP. Also, you do it, Mr. Prashant, because Kaushik is not there. So you do both, vote of thanks as well as the closing remarks. The stage is yours, Prashant, because Kaushik is not there. You take over that responsibility also.
Thank you, Sunil. And first of all, good morning for Anil and for all the remaining participants and the people across the globe. It should be either a good afternoon or a good evening. And at the outset, I would like to take this opportunity to congratulate all the pharmacists across the globe on the occasion of the World Pharmacist Afternoon. In fact, I saw that anthem, pharmacist anthem. I was really proud. I felt that moment of pride within me, and I really congratulate the team who have made that anthem. And it was the need of the hour. And what is it? If you happen to see yesterday, I am sure our WhatsApp was totally busy with lot of messages. I'm sure each one of us here and all our participants in the webinar also would have seen hundreds of messages on this great day. I call it as a great day because Pharmacist Day is dedicated to a profession which is more demanding and more challenging and more dynamic. Now, please don't get me wrong. It doesn't mean that underrate the other professions which are involved in the health. But then, according to me, after spending 25 years of experience as a pharmacist, I personally feel our profession is more challenging and demanding and dynamic. It keeps changing now and then. One particular message really touched my heart, and that was something like this. I don't exactly remember the wordings, correct me if I am wrong. It said that doctors pour life to a patient by giving medications, and pharmacists pour life to a medication. And that message really spelled out everything. You know, I could realize how powerful our profession is and how powerful a team participant we are. Without us, I probably feel all other healthcare professionals are confused and they cannot really think what next. Like, you know, we have started from the days of mortar and pestle. And after listening to Anil Sachdeva, I realized that we have gone to the era of, you know, medical devices, and he was talking about drug and device and the combination therapy. Now look at the kind of transformation which has taken place. Now, in fact, it was a very good session today, and I am proud that both the speakers are my classmates. And the best thing is, both of them spoke on two different faces of a coin. And what I realized, you know, I was on the top of the sky when I heard Anil. I felt he showed us how fast we are growing as a pharmaceutical industry and how fast we are contributing to the health sector and how good we are in transforming. And he was very, very close to the term or the theme which has been selected, transformation, transforming global health. But then after a few minutes, when I heard Sachin, I was going few steps back. I realized, hey, that's not the world. You see here a different kind of a world where a lot of service has to be done. Now, after listening to both of them, I realized, let me also share my thought on this event, the theme of the World Pharmacist Day. Now, I'm not having spent in academics, and even today I'm involved in sales, and even today I'm a licensed pharmacist. I practice across the counter, but today's view on this theme is from a community pharmacist. I would like to share couple of minutes. I will not take a lot of time, and I don't have a presentation. I would like to bring out that real feelings as a pharmacist. Where do we stand when it comes to this theme, transforming global health? Fine. This term is very interesting, but at the same time, it is challenging, and sometimes it has to be confronted. Now, transformation, it's nothing new here. It's a phenomena which is happening from decades. You know, it started from the days of mortar and pestle, and even today it's on. And probably the first few pharmacists who were involved in this process of transformation of the health are basically the pharmacists who are working in the field of research and development. And as Anil correctly pointed out, and we also have our teachers who are, in fact, they were the first people to share knowledge with us. They transformed their knowledge to us. As a result, we are in a position to transform whatever we learned from them to our next generation. Now, this is one segment of a transformation which is going on from ages, and of late it has caught the attention and it is moving at a faster pace because of the digitalization era. Now, I don't see anything wrong here. Now, where is the actual challenge? The challenge is when the real transformation has to take place and the pharmacist is involved directly as a person. Now, you saw how Sachin was focusing the problems in Nigeria. Now, there are, I'm sure, across India also, hundreds of pharmacists who are helpless across the counter. I will discuss what could be the reason in the next couple of minutes. Now, likewise, now I would like to imagine a scenario. I would like to put myself in the scenario where a pharmacist decides to take a career overseas. Fine, that's a fantastic feeling. He or she decides to choose a particular country across the globe. Globe is very interesting. and the candidate lands in that country. What next? Can you imagine? We are not in a profession where the what you call code of practice is the same. Every country across the globe expects the pharmacists to practice the rules and regulations and the ethics followed by that particular country. And this is not a joke. Honestly, this is not a joke. This itself takes a couple of months for that pharmacist to get acquainted with it. And on top of it, there are challenges about the culture, about the language, and for this, the pharmacist himself has to get transformed before he gets into the process called transformation of health across the globe. Now, as a person spent in the counter, I feel sorry when I see young pharmacists coming and taking up the career. I have also seen through my eyes a couple of people giving off. They have, in fact, failed to take up the challenges. Why is this happening? Now, this is happening because the individuals are involved and it is a process. Now, today, after listening to my classmates, and as Anil rightly pointed out, he, in one of his slides, did come out with this point, current approach to healthcare is not working. And I am with him. And after listening to my classmate Sachin and seeing the challenges in Nigeria, I feel we have just started this process called transformation of global health. Yes, I agree to all the research. I don't find anything fault there. We are going at a pace, and we are in a pace to address each and every health challenges today happening across the globe. Today, the healthcare pharmacist in any part of the globe is looking for a molecule. We as pharmacists, we are giving it because of our R&D. But then this is not the only part of the service. The other part of the service is the end user, the patient. The patient, is he getting the proper information and the proper material at the right time? No, he is not getting it. And as a pharmacist, with my own experience, I can tell you that this can happen if, as Sachin rightly pointed out, we need to further fine-tune our curriculum. Now, that doesn't mean that the curriculum has not changed. I recollect those Saturdays of my first year B.Pharm, where we were wearing a white apron, carrying the T-scale and going into that engineering campus. We ourselves were confused. We never knew what are we up to. And people watching us were also confused. At least I'm happy that the current curriculum is much better than what it was, but it isn't enough. Our curriculum has to change. Our curriculum has to be more practical. Our curriculum has to look into each and every requirement of the patient, who is the ultimate customer. And we are there because of the patients. We are serving because of the patients. Our profession is there for the patients. Now, until and unless the radical changes are done in our curriculum, I am sure that this theme will remain as a theme, and it can't really find practical solutions for it. Now, through this webinar, I actually take this opportunity to all the policy makers, decision takers, and our people involved in the academy to please consider once again refining our curriculum so that our pharmacists who would like to serve the humanity and the community don't actually end up in practical challenges. And in fact, I am sure that at least I know it's a very challenging task. It's not going to happen overnight, but it is going to take time. And with these few words, I would like to really thank my classmates for sharing their views and opinion about this theme. And I'd like to thank Sunil Chiplinka for giving me an opportunity to share this wonderful evening with my classmates. And of course, I will thank Dr. Kaushik on behalf of KPRA for giving me this invitation. Thank you.
Super, Prashant. That was really right from the heart, as they say. The wisdom of all your practice, and exposure has come out. Now, we have another very interesting point, and I request Dr. Kaushik to elaborate on that, because there is a bird I'm showing to you. It is called the hornbill. What has the hornbill got to do here? So that is something which only Dr. Kaushik should enlighten us. So Dr. Kaushik, are you listening? Is it clear, the
Yeah,
audio? Yeah, so
am I audible? Yeah.
yes, you are very audible. And now we
Yeah,
are all
fine.
interested in knowing what that hornbill has to do here in this webinar.
Okay. First of all, let me wish the viewers the happy Pharmacist Day. It gives me immense pleasure, as a KRPA president, as a KRPA team member, whatever we do it in a different passion, different innovative way, whether it can be in terms of having a webinar, having a topic that defines a particular problem statement. It can be, if you could see, last time we bought so much of new things, digitalization, telemedicine, and so many things, One of the way that we thought, so that we can do new things in World Pharmacist Day, we were not, every year we used to celebrate World Pharmacist Day in JSS College of Pharmacy with all the pharmacy college. Due to this pandemic, we couldn't celebrate in that way. But what we did was that we adopted a hornbill from Mysore Zoo as the this year theme says, transforming global health. We thought we also look in different perspective, that we should also take care of the birds, animals also. So we thought we will do something regarding that. So this is I think with all the support of all our team members, I think we have taken this initiative, and we also spread the word, to say that you can also adopt the animals and be a great ambassador to Mysore Zoo. And coming to today's webinar, I was silently making note of today's what Anil sir is making. Anil sir, I think you're a pharma couple. I think you have started encouraging a lot of people with respect to starting from your madam. I think you gave the current updates about medical device, and I did my PhD in medical device regulations. I think ensure that what I have done is right. And also coming to Sachin sir, you made a right statement saying that I'm giving a closing the pathholes. I think what are the statement that you gave from the start of and regarding the supply chain addition onto the PCI, I think Sunil sir will take a chance to talk about B. Suresh sir regarding the addition of supply chain in the pharmacy curriculum. And a lot of good people, I think the right motto of having this webinar is so that the great people from pharmacy who have achieved, and you come and talk and you inspire the young generation. I think we are every day we are meeting the requirement. I think we are meeting the objective of why we started this. And coming to Prashant sir, once again you proved that there is something inside teacher. There is inside you. There's a teacher in it. I think you, as you spoke, as Sunil sir said, you always talk from the heart. I think that is something that is inspiring us, and it's something touching the heart also. Thank you, Prashant sir. And once again, Sunil sir, if betting was made legal in India, I would have bet on you regarding the detailing skills that you have. Once again, thank you, Sunil sir, and thanks to all the viewers. Once again, World Happy Pharmacist Day. Let us keep serving the society, and let's, as the theme says, let's keep transforming global health.
Thank you very much.
You, Sunil sir.
Yeah, Dr. Kaushik sir, thank you once again. Thank you, Sachin, Prashant, Anil. It was all fantastic. Now what I'll do, many of the viewers have not seen the videos, so it is actually officially closed. But because the videos are not seen by many of the people, I'll be playing the video. So technically, it is a closed webinar.
Thank you.
Please enjoy the video. That was harmonica, and now it is the movie.
एक झटके में फाइन, ग्रीन कार्ड प्रोसेस भी खत्म, सब कुछ इनवैलिड।
कोई उतरा, गाड़ी से कोई उतरा, कोई आ रहा है, भाग भाग।
Just say the word and we'll send his ass packing.
तू जानता है तू इंडियन है, वहाँ तेरा जो लफड़ा। What is your reason for certifying here, हाँ? खुद की स्टोरी तो सुना। कुछ लफड़ा किया तो, कुछ तोड़फोड़ दिया तो पुलिस कहाँ आएगी? हमारे पास ना।
तुम नहीं समझोगी।
तो समझो ना, we are also worried about you. ड्रग्स या किसी लफड़े में इन्वॉल्व हो गया?
तू बोलेगा एजे किडनैप हो, पूछेंगे तुम्हारे एजे के साथ रिश्ता क्या है, फिर पूछेंगे हमारा स्टेटस क्या है।
तो क्या आपको हम पे भरोसा नहीं रहा?
शक का इलाज तो हमारा पास भी नहीं।
सोल्यूशन यही है कि पटिया को अपने बेटे के बारे में कुछ नहीं पता चलना चाहिए। कोई गन या शॉटगन नहीं लेके आया?
No guns.
ब्लफ कर रहा।
We're told that the suspect claims to be carrying explosives.
If the subject moves an inch, take him out.
What is funny is, although Anil is such a nice guy, he plays all villainous roles in the movies. This is the last movie trailer.
Papa, I saw someone opening my door.
आपने कोई सपना देखा होगा।
नहीं, यहाँ पर कुछ है। कोई अजीब आवाज सुनाई दे रही थी। हेलो?
अंजलि बेटा, घर अभी आए आप?
हाँ पापा, अभी आए।
बेटा, मेक श्योर दैट यू लॉक द डोर फ्रॉम इनसाइड।
मैं एक बात पूछूं? तुम्हें तुम्हारी मॉम की याद आती है?
मॉम की याद तो बहुत आती है, especially when I see other kids with their moms.
Did you know मेरी मॉम तुम्हारे पापा को पसंद नहीं करती?
ये अब हमारे साथ यहाँ रहेगी।
ये क्या हो रहा है पापा? ये ब्रेसलेट मेरी माँ का है। मैं कल अमित के घर मूव कर रही हूँ। कल रात अमित मेरे घर आया था, बहुत परेशान था। कह रहा था कि उसको घर में भूत नजर आते हैं। I mean, some kind of paranormal activity. To be honest, मुझे इन बातों पे विश्वास नहीं है, but something is not right.
अंजलि,
क्या एक्सेप्ट करूं कि वो औरत मेरी माँ बनेगी और फिर मुझे ही मेरे घर से बाहर निकाल देगी? That's my dad.
No, this is your dad.
By the way, तुम रिकी को साथ में लाई?
वो खुद मुझे weird लगता है।
तुम इतने साल कहाँ थी? तुम लोग काफी साल पहले यहाँ रहते थे।
Amit, he's already threatened to kill me. सच बात तो ये है, you're not my father. Did you kill my mom? अमन शायद ठीक ही था, पता नहीं क्या था उस घर में, और वो आखिरी दिन था जब मैं अमित से मिली।
Scary, eh? Then I'll improve your mood. I'll give you one very nice video. Please see this, 100%.
Health enhances smiles. Good oral health contributes to overall well-being. We at Group Pharma, our purpose is to deliver the best dental and healthcare products and services. We are constantly innovating to offer the finest in our sphere of the industry. In our 40 years of existence, we developed and launched many first-time products like Bioactive Glass Toothpaste, the unique xylitol-based kids toothpaste, the Phytoenzyme toothpaste, and the Nano Hydroxyl Appetite toothpaste. We have made a significant impact in alleviating specific oral conditions. Our dedicated field force, supported ably by our energetic and enthusiastic back office experts, market the products. Manufactured at our CGMP and ISO compliant factories located in Bengaluru and Mumbai. Our oral hygiene products help bring healthy smiles across the globe. Our commitment to spreading smiles beyond business. We have the legacy of partnering with the community, and with every smile, we realize our purpose. We symbolize the two most important beliefs we have: growth in every aspect and the people we touch. We at Group Pharma live our purpose of delivering the best oral and healthcare products with the firm conviction that every healthy smile matters.
Okay, one very last video. You will enjoy the music. I want to leave you all in a very, very good mood.
For emotion, collaborations fusion, the fusion, at the veil and ball creation.
For all the pharmacists out there, solving chemical equations, pharmacology, clinical phytochemistry.
We work the nights with the motor, from H to G, not far away, don't need a scooter. We save lives, that's our duty. If someone comes or gives a call, we've got to save it. You know we've got to stop. They will release this strike off. Anti-dust is enough. Nobody matters like you. We tell them your life's gonna be nothing but safe life. You're gonna grow and have a good life. I'm gonna do what I've got to do, yeah. Pharmacy, daily pharmacy. We're gonna help you. Medicine, baby, is what you need. To have it with your China heart failure, can't you see? Drug sensitivity, pharmacy, daily pharmacy.
Okay, thank you everybody. Time to call off. See you. Thank you very much. Send your feedbacks. Bye.